The next module we're going to cover is activities. As you can see from your left side menu, once we go to activities, it's going to open up classes and schedule management. Now, if you're an academy, you might actually see them a little bit differently. You might have them listed as teams and training sessions, but the structure is the same. So instead of having teams is going to be schedule management and training session is going to be classes. Now, in this format, as you can see, those two sections represent the same information, but with different functionalities. The schedule management is where we create our schedule. So from here, as you can see, there's an add button where once clicked, it will allow you to create a class. So it's very important for a class to, first of all, upload a picture, to put a name for the class, for example, boxing class. To put a description, maybe 2-3 lines describing that class. Then you pick the category. Now, this category is most important if you have a branded app, because a picture of that category will show up on the homepage of your branded app, so make sure to pick the correct one. Now I'm going to pick boxing in this category. Then I pick the instructor. Who is the instructor who will be teaching this boxing class that I'm creating? Let's say this instructor is Mario. I can also select a pay rate for Mario. I can choose sub-trainers for this class, and I can choose multiple sub-trainers even. But make sure that the sub-trainers only have accessibility to take attendance from the application. You cannot put a pay rate for them. So it's only the main instructor who would have a pay rate. Under the sub-trainer, you're going to see there's select field or room. This is where you select where will this class happen in. So from the rooms that you created or the fields that you created, you can select a specific room here. Let's go with the boxing room. Now, there are a couple of checkboxes that you can check. I'm going to start with the first one. Ignore trainer conflict. Say, for example, this instructor Mario has two classes that he's giving at the same time. If you check ignore trainer conflict, then you'll be able to create those two classes. If you do not, then the second class you're creating at the same time on the same day is going to cause a conflict. And that is to protect you as a business from having two classes by mistake at the same time with the same instructor. The one on the right is ignore room conflict. It works on the same logic, but this is regarding the room. So to prevent you as a business to book in the same room at the same time a class. However, if you check it, you'll be able to do that. And lastly, you have outdoors. Say, for example, you're creating a workshop or event for your clients. This is where you can input a location outside of your business, and this location will be powered by Google Maps. So, say, for example, I'm just going to put Beirut, Lebanon, and as you can see, it's giving me a couple of options. This is powered by Google. But in this scenario, let's stay with the boxing room. Now, this is where we input our schedule for that class. So, say, for example, we have boxing classes 3 times a week. And I would recommend doing a weekly schedule. And I'll show you why in a bit. So let's say we have 3 times a week. Let's say it's every Monday. So I'm going to pick here 11th of December, which is Monday. Let's say every Wednesday as well. So we have on Wednesday. And let's say we have two classes on Wednesday even, not even one. And then we have one class, let's say on Friday. So I'm going to go with the 15th. So now I have one class on Monday, two classes on Wednesday, and one class on Friday. I'm going to put their timing. Let's say, for example, they're all at 3 p.m. except the second one on Wednesday, which is at 4 p.m. Right? I'm going to put the duration at 60 minutes, so that's an hour a class, kind of average for most classes, I would say. And now, there's a mandatory section next to each schedule that you create. If your package that you're allocating to this class is pre-selected unlimited, and if you want to know more about that, please check out the videos related to packages. So if it is pre-selected unlimited, you can actually force specific classes onto clients. All right, but again, this is only available for specific types of packages. So after you create your schedule here, you'll have a repeat button under your schedule. So you don't need to create this every week. After you create this once, you just click on repeat. You can make a weekly repetition or a daily repetition or a bi-weekly or a yearly. Usually the most used is weekly, which is most recommended, I would say. Weekly repetition, we have end date of repetition. I can say, I want this schedule that I just created to repeat weekly until, let's say, end of November 2024. All right. So I can either input an end date of repetition or I can input number of occurrences. You can always say, I want this schedule to repeat on a weekly basis for 10 times. So that's 10 weeks. But personally, I prefer the date. It's always more accurate. You can pick a specific date that you want. And you can input the age range of that class. Say, for example, this class can accept people between 16 and 50. And you can also input the level. If you have the custom level add-on, you can choose between custom levels that you created, like those. And if you do not have custom levels, you're going to see the basic levels that we have on the system, which are beginner, intermediate, advanced, etc. But in this scenario, I'm going to say this applies to all levels, and I can put the slots availability. So this would be how many people can I fit inside that class. Let's say I can fit up to 10 people inside this boxing class. Now, I have an option to put enable single session and put a price for a single class that people attend without having a package. That's also a possibility. So I can say a single class is $10. But this is not a mandatory thing. You can always have a class package for one pass, or you can have an enable single session for $10. They kind of represent the same thing. The most important part is make sure to allocate the packages to the correct class. So in this scenario, I have boxing 5 classes, right? I can choose multiple, by the way, but in this scenario, we're just going to pick one. The quantity next to the package represents how many passes are being deducted every time a client attends this class. So in this scenario, since it's one and the client has 5 passes, this package will offer 5 passes to attend 5 classes. If I put one, that means each class they attend, they will lose one of their passes. If I put two, every class they attend, they will lose 2 passes. Most businesses set it at one, but if it's something that's important to adjust on your side, please feel free. You can, of course, adjust your cancellation policy that you set before in your basic business settings. So if you want to make it very specific for this boxing class, you can always do it 24 hours instead, maybe change the cancellation fee to $10. So feel free to adjust this however you see fit. You can also adjust the waitlist. So you might say, only for this class, I only want a waitlist of 5 people. So that's also a possibility. And then we click save. All right, it says invalid picture. As you can see, I forgot to upload a picture. So let's put one together. We'll put a random picture in place and let's put a Lebanon flag. And there we go. So now we can click save and that schedule will be saved in our schedule management. There we go. We have a boxing class. The trainer is Mario. We have 4 schedules. If we click on them, they will expand. As you can see, we have class on Monday at 3 p.m., class on Wednesday at 3 p.m., class on Wednesday at 4 p.m., and class on Friday at 3 p.m. And those are repeated schedules. As you can see, they start on these dates and they end on November 30th. So they are repeated on a weekly basis. So there are a couple of things we can do from here. Say, for example, November 30th came and we want to further extend that class. We don't have to create it again. We can just click on extend all and change the end date of repetition to a future date. So that will automatically auto-create new classes for you with the dates that already exist. Say, for example, you also found that your boxing classes are doing very well and you decided to add a 5th schedule on Saturday. You also do not need to create a new schedule, put them under the same folder of boxing class. So all you need to do is click on add schedule here. And now you can actually create another one that, let's say, starts on Saturday. So that's the, let's say, 17th. Let's say this class will be at 5 p.m. for 60 minutes. And it will repeat the same way. So on a weekly basis until the end of November. Everything else, as you can see, is already filled, so you don't really need to fill anything except the schedule itself. Or maybe you have other boxing classes that are being done by other instructors. You can always change the instructor here as well. All right, so what that will do, I'm going to click save just to show it. And now we have 5 schedules. Mario and another instructor, which we called into in this scenario, will actually give boxing classes and based on the specific dates that we specified. And what that will do is we'll have boxing classes under one schedule. So we don't end up with multiple folders like this that represent the same class. This will of course be cleaner for your reports. Now, if you create new packages that you want to allocate to this schedule, you can click on edit schedules here, on edit packages here, and you can always select the packages that apply to this one. You can also edit levels. Again, if you have the custom levels add-on, you can always add or remove to give accessibility to clients with certain levels. And of course, you can print an attendance sheet. And that way, if you want your instructors to take it on a pen and paper, that's always a possibility. That from a schedule management point of view. If we go to classes, we're going to see a weekly schedule. So this will show us the classes that we created in our schedule management. So as you can see, we have different classes available here. I can always navigate forward or backwards in weeks. This is currently catching from December 4th till December 10th. If I move forward, as you can see, December 11th till December 17th, and this is one of the classes that we just created, which is a boxing class at 3 p.m. in the boxing room. There are a couple of things I can do from here. I can always edit to change the information. And once I edit and change any information and I click save, it's going to ask me whether I want to change it for this time only. So that means, do I only want to change this class on Monday, or do I want to change all boxing classes on Monday? So any change that I do can apply to all that schedule on Monday or just to this one. I can also create a duplicate activity. So that will create another schedule with another boxing class. Another option that I have here is I can actually click on this button, which is share activity, and this will create a link for me, which it auto copies, and if I paste it, this is something that might be interesting for your events or for your workshops. So you can always share this link with clients or mass email it to client. If you would like to know how to send a mass email, check out our client video. As you can see, it will show you the profile picture of that class or event that you're creating, the name of it, by what business, the dates. If there are other dates, if you have multiple events, they can book immediately from here. Or as you can see, the location, the cancellation policy. There's a lot of details, and it has a nice viewability, especially for events and workshops. And lastly, of course, you can delete the activity. And the same as saving, this will ask you whether you want to delete this class only or whether you want to cancel all of them. And of course, this applies to all upcoming schedules. So schedule from today till the future, not the ones that you had before, to maintain, of course, your data and attendance and everyone who attended those classes. Now, additionally, those classes are clickable. So you can click on them and go to the attendee page. And this is where you can add attendees. You can always put the name of a client and add them. And as you can see, if there's a level mismatch, it's going to tell you. You can always create a new client immediately from here if you want to. So we just added this client who does not have a package, as you can see here. We can always buy them a package as well, or we can pick a single session price. So if I want to buy them a package, same process as we saw on our client profile video on how to buy a package. Or let's just pick the single session one here. Just the net price is $10. Let's say they paid us through cash. We're going to confirm. And there we go. We have this client is in this class, fully operational, and we are ready to take attendance. Under sign up, we can click on it, select present, late arrival, late cancellation, or no show. So as you can see, I can just take any attendance, whether from here or the instructor can take them from the application.